It's good to know that you are still there. This is still Good Morning Abuja on NTH Channel 5, the Unity Station. You know, it is very, very important for us to expand our knowledge and skills, for us to be a better version of who we are. And that's what we want to talk about this morning. We want to talk about personal development. I'll have someone in the house, in the studio, who is a public speaker and also an accountant, and she is Gloria Chidima Okoli. Gloria,
Good
thank you so much
morning.
for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So we're talking about personal development. Okay, for someone who is just wondering, personal development. To a layman, what does it mean? And how can a common person start?
Okay, well, personal development. Allow me to focus on the development for a minute.
Okay.
Development simply means any activity
Mm.
or you just expanding. It means expansion.
Okay.
When you look at a child and say this child is developing, it means he's maybe protruding a different part of the body that he didn't have. But when we talk about personal development, we're talking about development of the mind,
Okay.
development of your skill set, development of your capabilities.
Mm.
When you attach the word personal to it, it means that it's your personal responsibility. The mistake that the common man makes sometimes is that we rely totally on the school system or
Mm.
an organized learning system to develop us. Yeah.
Okay.
Why that is not so bad, why it is called personal development is because it's a set of activities that you engage in by consciously exposing yourself to a body of knowledge in relation to what you want to learn. You probably want to develop a public speaking skill,
Mm.
you want to develop an ability to do a particular thing, you want to develop an ability to give you a competitive edge, probably you're trying to pursue an employment.
Okay.
So every activity you engage in to give your to improve on your talent,
Mm.
to improve on your capability, to improve on your skill set, to improve on your mindset,
Okay.
that is personal development. And just about anybody can engage in it.
Okay. Let's look at the place of positive mindset and also being positive in attitude, the place of it in personal development.
All right. So for me, mindset is everything because it's your mindset that tells you I want this. It's your mindset that tells you I can do this.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
One of the basic ingredients you need for personal development is what I call desire or
Mm.
interest. You have to want it. You have to see the need
Okay.
for it. So when you are at a place where you don't have a growth mindset, personal development is not something you even want to engage in. So you need a growth mindset. You need to have the desire to be better. You need to have the desire to know more than your lecturers have taught you, more than your teachers have taught you, more than your environment has
Okay.
impacted on you. So, at the base of personal development is a desire to want to be better. You want to have a growth mindset. And then you now begin to ask the questions: what body of knowledge do I need to expose myself to be better in relation to what I want to do with the rest of my life? So the importance of mindset cannot be overemphasized. You want
Overemphasized.
to have a growth mindset. You want to want more than you already know. And
Mm.
the truth is that you find people say that the more I know, the more I realize that I don't even
Okay.
know
Okay.
anything.
And the more I want to
The
know,
more I want to know.
that's
So
good.
somebody will say, all I know is that I know nothing, because the more you expose yourself to a body of knowledge, you realize that there is an infinite body of that knowledge. So you want to have a growth mindset. And that's why mindset is very important.
You know, doubt, hmm, the spirit of I can't, you know, or should I use the word not believing in oneself? Does it also have a role to play?
Unfortunately, it has a big role to play.
Mm.
It has a big role to play because I always said that your mind is an environment that is exclusive to you. And that's why we say if you say you can, you're right. If you say you can't, you're
You're also
also
right.
right.
Yeah.
That environment is exclusive to you. We
Yeah.
cannot do so much to infiltrate the environment.
Mm.
So my advice would be that you believe that you can,
Mm.
because you can actually. The moment you say you can, the
Mm.
moment you believe you can, there is a way the universe begins to align to
Okay.
provide you the opportunities to do that which you have said you can do.
Okay.
And that's why your belief system is so important. Unfortunately, a lot of persons have doubts, and doubt can just come from a couple of things. It could come from maybe the results you've experienced in the past. They are not
Or
so
maybe
good,
your
and then you feel like you
background.
can't do so much. Your environment plays a very
Okay.
big role.
Okay.
The things that people have told you about yourself plays a very big role. But the truth is, I would always ask the question: if something somebody says to me can play a very big role as to how I feel about myself. Then
Mm.
I should start saying the things I want to feel about
Okay.
myself
Okay.
to myself. So you do not allow what people say, what the environment say, the
To
limitations
affect
and
you.
all of that to affect you. Because if you don't believe you can, you're already or you're already buried. So you want to uh, quench. You cannot probably totally just shut off that doubt. It's there once in a while, but feel the doubt and just do what you need to do anyway. Because the more you do it, the more you get better at it.
Honestly, and the more you do it, the more you get better. Now, for someone who feels, okay, I've just been, should I use the word static? What are the steps? Let me just call them the elementary steps the person is supposed to take to develop oneself.
There's a big trick. You know, when people engage in personal development, goal setting, they always see it as a very gigantic thing.
Honestly. Maybe
Start
because of the language,
small.
personal
Personal
development.
development.
To
It's
them,
not
it's
so big.
big.
Start small. The easiest way to start, I would say two easy way to start, is to set up your environment to allow it. One of the things I started doing is that I always have books around me, right? If you go to my car, you'll find a book in it. In my house, you just find book here and there. So even when I'm not looking like I want to do it, I've set up my environment to make me want to pick up an article and read, to make me want to pick up.
And it's the articles that that
Yeah,
will develop you,
that will now
organize them.
develop you.
So it's
Is
intentional.
intentional.
Wow.
So set up your environment to prompt the habits that you want to develop. Is very important. Another thing about environment is please sanitize your association because association is such a
Sanitize your
powerful
association.
is such a powerful tool. You cannot say I want to be a better public speaker, but all your friends are very timid people and they are not interested in being better anyway. So please sanitize your environment. Because if I say, oh, I want to be a pilot, for example, it's like a gigantic thing. But it helps if my association is people that tell me, oh, you can, oh,
Uh-huh.
this is how you can do it. Oh, they
Or people
know.
who are into it.
Yeah, or people who are into it as well, or people who know where to get the information I need to
Mm.
achieve that which I want to, and people who are interested
Okay.
in giving me the necessary help. So just set up your environment to promote what you want to do.
Okay.
If you say I want to drink water every morning, for
Mm.
example, as simple as that sounds, it has a lot of long time impact on your health. Start by keeping a bottle of water by your bedside. So by the time it's there, morning, afternoon, night, there is just something that makes you want to wake up
Wake
and
up
pick it
and
up.
pick the water.
But if you keep
Yeah.
your water somewhere that you will not see it for a really long time, that's not it. So just set up your environment. It's
I
called
love that word, sanitize your environment. I
sanitize your
love it.
environment, sanitize your association. If
Wow.
you do those two things, every other thing will begin to align with time.
Okay, for you, what would you say are some of the setbacks, some of the challenges that people face? Apart from we've talked about doubt, or maybe wrong mindset. So, what else do you think are some?
I think one of the challenges I've seen people face that I've faced myself and then I've had to overcome is that when we set personal development goals, we don't set it in a way that makes them really achievable. Maybe you
Okay.
see something that somebody else is doing, as interesting as that is, you don't sit down and ask the question, is this for me? Is this good for me? And does it fit into my long term plan? So that's one of the mistakes. You are doing something which is good and amazing, but you are doing all the wrong things. So now you're investing energy. You are reading a book that you should not be reading. You are
Wow.
getting knowledge anyway, but it doesn't align to your long term goals.
Okay.
You are setting goals that are gigantic and all of that, but it doesn't align to what you want to do. For example, when people come out of school, they want to get a job. They're just, oh, let me just get a job in any sector. You don't sit and ask yourself, okay, this job 10 years later, will it
Wow.
add up to what I want to do? So when you're setting goals, there's always like this acronym
Hmm.
SMART. Set goals that are specific, set goals that are measurable, set goals that are achievable, set goals that are relevant to your long term plans,
Okay.
and let those goals be time bound so you achieve it within a particular period of time. You
Okay.
could also break those times into, oh, I want to do something for 2025. That is big. But then when you begin to look at it, oh, January, I want to achieve this. Okay, first 2 weeks of January, I want to achieve. It just allows you to launch into what you want to do,
Want to
anyways,
do. Okay.
right? So I think one of the mistakes that people make is that they view it as a big thing and they don't sit down to just break it down.
Okay.
Another thing is the price, the willingness to pay the price.
Okay.
Personal development does not come free
And
of
easy.
charge, right?
Doesn't
You
come
have to be
easy.
willing
Mm-hmm.
to pay the price.
Mm.
Even when somebody buys a course for you have to be willing to invest your time. You have to be willing to invest practice.
Okay.
You have to be willing to cut down on activities.
Okay.
There was the time I was writing my ICANN exam, for example. I didn't attend weddings for a long period of time. I didn't attend parties, not that like I attend parties anyway,
Okay.
but you just have to be willing to pay the
The
price,
price.
give it what it requires.
Okay, we'll go on a break and when we come back, we'll continue. All right, we've been discussing personal development, and I'm sure you are saying this is interesting. I picked things on sanitize your environment and set up goals, achievable goals. Okay, let's take this break, and when we come back, you'll hear more. All right, it's still good morning, Abuja. If you're just joining us, don't worry, you've not missed anything. We've been discussing personal development, and our guest is still here to throw more light. So, you were talking about setting achievable goals, setting goals that, how will I put it?
Smart goals.
Okay,
Smart,
smart.
smart means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely.
Okay, smart goals. All right, so continue, talk to us
All
more.
right, so I was saying that one of the difficulties people find in setting goals is that number one, the goals are not specific because
Mm.
you want to be a public speaker, but you are going to all the wrong seminars. You're going to
Oh.
all the wrong places. So even though you are developing yourself, you can be developing yourself in the wrong things. And this is such a sad thing because you are investing effort. We
It's
are not
something else. Meanwhile,
investing
you
the
want
effort
something else.
in the things
Mm-hmm.
that will
Mm-hmm.
yield the results that you want. Set goals that are measurable. Set goals that you can say, oh, within a week, I want to achieve this. With that, you have killed the time bound thing. And then it
Mm.
helps you to check progress, to
Okay.
evaluate yourself, to see areas that you need to improve. Evaluation is important because you could be doing something for a long time that is wrong. But if you could evaluate yourself once in a while, you are
Mm.
able to see exactly where you have gone wrong, see
Wrong
what to make
and retrieve
improvements
your
on,
steps.
what to retrieve your steps, what to
Mm.
improve on, see what your strengths are, see what your weaknesses are
Mm.
as well. Goals that are achievable. This is very important because once for me, I was a victim of it for a long time because I like big, big things. So once you set a goal, like I want to do this thing this particular time, and then you realize that it becomes so difficult because
Mm.
it's such a big thing. But when you are starting, it's always good to start small. And starting is very important because you cannot improve on something you've not
You've not
started.
started. Yeah.
So start small.
So procrastination is not
It's
allowed.
not allowed. Just start small. Start small. There is a book I read and it said, whatever you want to start, start it within 2 minutes.
Oh.
2 minutes. What you want to start exercising, just start by exercising 2 minutes per day. And then you begin to improve
Okay.
on it.
Okay. Okay.
But if you want to say, I want to do 30 minutes, I want to do 1 hour on the
Mm.
first day, it may not really work. And then you want to set goals that are relevant. As I've said, don't do things, please. And in goal setting, the importance of coaching, mentoring cannot be overemphasized. I'll
Mm.
get to that later if we have the time. But set goals that actually align with what you want to do. Because when we talk about
Mm.
long term goals are accumulation of the short term things that you're doing.
Okay.
Anything that wastes your 24 hours
Mm.
will waste another 24 hours. Before you know, you've wasted a week. Before you know, you've wasted a month.
Months.
But then because you're wasting 1 hour, it's not such a big thing. But accumulation of one hour makes a whole day. It
Mm.
makes a whole week. It makes a whole month. And then you realize you've wasted your whole year. Again, time bound. Please make it something that you can measure so that you can also again evaluate to see that, oh, am I getting it right? Am I
Okay.
still on the right track?
Okay. Okay. Now we've been talking about goals, setting goals for someone who wants to develop oneself. What are some of the goals that you think a person should set for oneself?
Okay, I think for me to answer that, I want to first of all say that we are living in a very lucky era where information is just about
Mm.
anywhere.
Mm.
So the first thing you want to do is to decide on what area of my life I want to improve. Don't say I want to improve all of them at the same time. Again,
Because it will get you
it
nowhere.
gets really overwhelming. So once you decide that this is where you want to start, association is important. Get somebody who wants to hold you accountable, someone who has the sources to the knowledge that you seek. But if you just pick up your phone and search the right sources, the information is there. But the importance of accountability is somebody that watches you. It could be a
Okay.
mentor, it could be a coach, it could be just a friend who is just interested to see you develop and get better at what you're doing. And then the third thing I want to say is that be willing to pay the price. I've mentioned it that there is a price. And when we talk about price, it's not just money. You could get courses for free, you could get information for free, but be willing to invest the time. Be willing to set apart an hour out of your 24 hours to read something, to
Okay.
know something about something, especially about the areas that you want to develop. I'm an accountant. It's such a broad field, but I want to focus on this specific area. I'm reading about that specific area for time. I am a public speaker. It means I find myself in situations where I have to speak across different spectrum of topics. I want to be sure that at a particular time, I'm exposing myself to this body of knowledge. This is what I want to know.
Okay.
I'm exposing myself to that body of knowledge. So whatever you want to do, just be willing to, number one, decide. Number two, sanitize your environment. Number three, get an accountability partner. It cannot be overemphasized.
Okay.
Then for yourself, be willing to pay the price. And please let me add this. Do yourself the favor and believe that you can. It's very important.
Okay. Let's also look at some daily habits that one need to drop or need to inculcate into what will I call it, activities in order to help us to achieve our personal goals.
All right, let's say you have a goal concerning your health.
Mm.
I want to lose weight. I want to glow my skin. I want to be better. I want to just get better. You
Mm.
want to improve your drinking water, yeah?
Mm.
I talk about drinking water a lot because the effects are enormous.
Yes,
I've
yes.
seen people who got sick and died from dehydration. I've seen people who also improved their life from
From
dehydration.
drinking
So,
enough
what
water.
little habits can I do? Number one, keep water where you can always see it.
Mm.
Number two, set a timer. I have a timer on my phone, my smartwatch. It reminds me drink water. Now, do I drink the water every time it reminds me? Not necessarily, but sometimes I'm tired of you reminding me. So I just pick up my water and drink. Cut down on the things you should not be
That's a good
eating.
one.
Yeah, be willing to just drop some things. Do not be a glutton.
Mm.
And
To not be a
do
glutton.
not,
Yeah.
if you're working on your health. If you're working on, for example, I want to learn how to sew better.
Mm.
Again, start daily habits. Don't wait until you have a material. Use paper
You
to
can even visit a
practice.
tailor.
Visit a tailor. Just make it like daily things. So what I'm saying is, number one, put cues around you.
Mm.
It helps to put cues
Around.
around you. I cannot remember the last time I subscribed my DSTV. I do not watch television so much, by the way, but I cannot remember the last time I subscribed it. So there is no cue for me to on the television to go watch it. So
Mm.
when there is no television on, I have a book around me. Guess
Just
what
read.
choice I have? I have to pick up the
Pick the
books.
book and read
Anyway,
to keep
so,
your mind
so
busy.
yeah, so just put cues around you and be
Mm.
intentional about it.
Yeah,
Just
that's
be
the word, be
intentional. Be
intentional.
intentional about
Mm.
it. But putting cues are very important.
Wow, wow, this is awesome. So for someone who is watching you right now, who is saying, wow, just like me, somebody, okay, I need to start somewhere. What do I do? As your parting words, what would you say to such a person?
I'll say that personal development is a you thing.
Mhm.
So it's up to you totally. Our education system, as fantastic as it is, can leave you absolutely undereducated. That means you are educated, but you're not educated enough to compete favorably, especially internationally.
Okay,
So, personal development is a you thing, and the sooner you start it,
the better.
the better for you.
Mm.
And then my parting words would be believe in yourself because even though you don't know me, my name is Glory and I absolutely believe in you. So I'll be rooting for a better you, a more developed you.
Thank you so much. Wow, she is waiting for a better you. We are waiting for a better you. Like she said, okay, I picked some things. Mindset. You must have positive mindset. And you must speak well about yourself. It doesn't matter what people say. What do you want from yourself? So you need to chart the course of your life by yourself. So we are looking for a better version of you. All right. The program is still Good Morning Abuja. Like we said to you, we are going to inform, educate, and enlighten you. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back if you're just joining us. This is still Good Morning Abuja on NT Channel 5, the Unity Station. You know that wearing your seat belt when driving is also helps to reduce the risk of injury and death in a car accident. And it also helps to keep you when there's an accident. Once you wear your seat belt, it helps to reduce the way you'll be flinged out or you will hit a hard object. And that's what we want to address this morning. We want to talk about the importance of wearing your seat belt. And we have someone here whose job is to make sure that our road is safe. Please join me as I welcome CRC Sylvanus Ekpeyong. He is the unit head of operations, Central Business District, Federal Road Safety Corps. Sir, good morning to you.
Good morning for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I want to say thumbs up and thank you, because I know that before you came to the studio this morning, you had already gone out to make sure that the road is free, okay, for us, the road users. So thank you so much. So
Thank you.
Let me start by asking, why did you decide to do that?
You see, when we talk about the traffic, especially the festive period is over.
Okay.
Every work has resumed. Everybody's rushing to go to work.
Okay.
And the peak periods that people move to their work is as early as 5:30, 6 o'clock. People are on the road.
Okay.
And normally have the traffic congestion, especially coming out from the suburb of the city to the city center.
Okay.
It's always a problem. Like this morning, we're at AYA,
Okay.
making sure that on top of the bridge, making sure that the road is free from congestion and people get to their destination safe. Because you notice that people park on the road, especially these coastal buses, they park on top of the bridge.
Wow.
To pick passengers and to drop passengers. And that will also constitute the traffic gridlock on that area. So we have to make it as a point of make sure that that place is free so that people get to their office on time.
Wow, that's a good one.
As well as early as 5:30, we're all on the road to make sure that the road is free.
That's a good one. It's good to hear that, and at least to be able to send signals to those who disobey.
We tell them you have to make sure you don't park on the road. If you must have to park and carry passenger, park off the road.
Okay.
And drop your passenger and carry. But most of them want to park on the center of the road. And by the time you do that, you see the volume of traffic.
Not considering other
road users. So it will cause a lot of traffic congestion. And we don't want that to happen again in FCT.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're talking about the importance of wearing a seatbelt, the importance of seatbelt. Yes. So what would you have to say about it?
See, importance of seatbelts is, I don't know what to say, it's overemphasized because people don't know. It's one of the simplest and effective way of reducing road traffic crash. Okay. Or reducing death and injury in event of road traffic crash. But people neglect that use of seat belts. The seat belt is in the vehicle. The manufacturer of the vehicle put it there. You don't need to go to market to buy seat belt and fix. Once you buy a vehicle, it's already in the vehicle. It's why there's a reason of the manufacturer putting the seat belt in the vehicle, but people neglect it. And they don't know the importance of that. That will save them, save their life. That will reduce the risk of fatal crashes. If you have the crash have to be fatal, that wearing seatbelt can reduce the risk of injury by at least 45%. Okay. And if it is a crash, the wearing seatbelt can also reduce the injury or death when you have to involve by the neck, the head, and it can reduce it by at least 50%. Okay. And also wearing seatbelts can also help the vulnerability, the people that are vulnerable, the pregnant women, the children that are inside the vehicle, the elderly. The seatbelt will help them to reduce the risk of injury and death. In case of a crash that you have to be ejection on the vehicle, you have to be thrown out of the vehicle, the seatbelt will help you to fasten and keep you in the vehicle. Could you just imagine that a crash happened? Maybe a vehicle is somersaulted and you are thrown out of the vehicle.
Wow.
If you survive, we give God the glory. Because if a crash happened, let me say you go at the speed of, let me just use a very minimal speed of, let's say 30 kilometers per hour. And a crash happened and you need to be thrown out of the vehicle. The same speed of the vehicle going, the same speed
The same speed that the
you
person will
thrown out
land.
of the vehicle. So good, just imagine if you are going at the speed of 100 kilometers per hour and you thrown out at the same speed. If course is not on your side, return we have to say rest in peace.
Okay.
That is why we don't want such things to happen. And that's why we advise people, make use of your seatbelt, fasten your seatbelt. And not only fasten your seatbelt, by fastening it correctly.
Okay.
Some people don't even know how to make use of the seatbelt.
Okay.
Some of them, you see that the seatbelt, that the belt that's supposed to be on your shoulder down, some will put it in their back. The one that's supposed to fasten your abdomen, some of them will not even put it. So fasten seatbelt, you have to also make sure you fasten it correctly, because if it's not correctly fastened, the risk of injury to be worse when you are not fastening it well. And we also tell people, when you carry overloading in your vehicle, how will you fasten your seatbelt?
I wanted to say that when you have two people seated,
so you see two people
front,
seated
how
in
will
front,
they share the seatbelt?
there is no how you can fasten the seatbelt. And also has to tell people, please reduce the number of people you carry a vehicle. Don't carry overloaded vehicle.
But it's like
because
in Abuja,
once you carry,
they don't even want to give and carry one person in front. They still want to stick to that two passengers in
that
front.
is why we are going out for intervention patrol.
Okay.
We are doing this intervention patrol. We focus on overloading, two passengers in front.
So it's supposed to be one passenger in front.
The vehicle is meant for one passenger in front, a driver and a passenger.
Yeah.
So
Then
once
the
you
back,
carry
the back
is supposed to be three.
Three. Okay.
And once you carry more than the required number of passengers, especially in the front of the vehicle, it becomes overload. And one will say we don't close eyes, because the risk that involved is higher than the money you're collecting.
Yeah.
So that's why once you carry overload, you cannot fasten seatbelts. So it's an offense for you not to fasten your seatbelt, and we'll have to punish you for not fastening your seatbelt. And we always tell people, you don't just enter a vehicle. If I'm driving, I'll tell you, once you enter my vehicle, I'll tell you, please fasten your seatbelt. And some vehicle will even give you sound, would notify you.
Yes.
Some vehicle these days will notify you that, Madam, Oga, you are not fastening your seatbelt. We'll give you a sound. Why is it giving you a sound? Because they know the importance of fastening your seatbelts.
And that means if you're okay, maybe if you see someone who has two passengers in front, directly the person, there's no seat belt.
So
what it means is that the person has committed two offenses.
Of course.
So not fastening the seat belt
is an offense.
and also
carrying two is an offense.
So this issue of a seat belt, there are some vehicles you see the seat belt is not working. You see some of them, their seat belts are not working, whether it's intentional. They did it so that they will not have somebody saying, I want to fasten seat belt or not. So do you also check the vehicles to make sure that these seat belts are there?
Yes, we do. That is why we work hand in hand with other sisters agencies. Now, if you go to Directorate of Road Transport Services in the FCT, the so-called VIOs, there is a department of when you check your vehicle, if the vehicle is roadworthy, they will issue you a certificate of roadworthiness certificates. What's the importance of that roadworthiness certificate? Is to test that the vehicle is roadworthy, that everything's are okay, the seatbelts are working well before they issue that roadworthiness certificate. By the time you don't have roadworthiness certificate in your vehicle, it becomes an offense also.
Okay, so
you become an offense.
Ask for it.
Of course. Because that vehicle is not worthy to be on the road. If your vehicle seatbelt is not there, that vehicle is not roadworthy. It should not be on the road. We advise people, if you have a problem with your seatbelt, take it to a qualified mechanic, service it, and make sure that it's fixed and it works. And some seatbelt, when you want to fasten it, when you drag it, if you have seatbelt, when you drag it and it's not coming out, return it back and move it. It will move. Because if you just drag it and it come out straight, that means it's not working. It has to be, you drag it before you fasten it.
Okay, we'll go on the break. Okay, let's go on this break, and when we come back, we'll continue, because a lot of people will say, okay, what happens to those who do not wear the seatbelt, who do not even have seatbelt at all? All right, we've been discussing the importance of seat belts. Let's go on this break, and when we come back, we'll continue the discussion. Yeah, welcome back. We're discussing the importance of seat belts before we went on this break. And CRC Sylvanus Ekweyan is still in the studio to throw more light. So let's look at the penalty. When you don't wear is one. When you now don't have is another one. When it's not working is another. Then the overload.
You see, when once you don't have, even though I said you don't have seatbelt in your vehicle, either it's working or it's not working, and you don't wear it, it's an offense. That is what we call you driving without being on seatbelts. We will certainly issue you a ticket. Most of the time, we advise people. We don't even do the enforcement. What we do is just a softened enforcement, just to pinch you, because enlightenment without enforcement becomes zero. When we enlighten you and we don't enforce, it becomes zero. So normally what we do is that we also allocate you. Some of them might say, oh, okay, I just stopped my vehicle, I just I forget, I just came out from car wash, I forget. Please, we advise you, please always make sure you fasten your seatbelt.
Okay.
An event of you carrying more than one passenger in front, there's no how the two of you will fasten seatbelts. And I'll tell you, I don't close eyes on that. When I send my boys on the road, I tell them, you can advise people that maybe you carry one person and doesn't wear seatbelt. You can try to tender mercy with justice by giving the person public enlightenment. Please go and put on your seatbelt. You continue your movement. But once you carry more than one passenger, it becomes intentional. And so when it is intentional, I'll tell them, no, the vehicle should be impounded in the office. We issue a ticket for seatbelt violation and carry an overloading.
And you know, some of them at times.
And before you go for payment, we'll educate you. We have our public enlightenment officer. We'll sit you down and we'll give you a lecture on why you should not overload your vehicle and why you should be wearing your seatbelt before you allow you to go and pay the fine.
Beautiful. You know, I also noticed that some of them, you find out that by the time they're carrying two in front, this person next to the driver is almost sharing where the driver where the gear box is, where the person it becomes like discomfort for the driver. You see the driver struggling.
It's not only the driver. It's not only the driver. You that is sitting in the front, you are not comfortable. It's not the driver.
Okay.
It's a risk.
It's a risk.
And the risk is high. Now, just imagine the vehicle is speeding and a crash happens and you have to be thrown out of the vehicle. You that sit in the vehicle. Wow. If three of them is thrown out of the vehicle, what happened? So that is why we don't close eye when it comes to such offense. Seatbelt is a very minor offense. We don't charge much. It's just to pinch you.
Yeah.
But it's serious. People don't know. It's one of the simplest things people don't do. But it's effective when it comes to reduction in road traffic crashes, injury, and death.
And the thing is this.
And we notice what some people do is that in the event of maybe breakdown of vehicle, there is no way to do. They will when I use razor blade, remove the seatbelts, use it to tow their vehicle. Illegal towing.
I've seen that before.
And when you do that, the vehicle have no seatbelt again. So you better go and park the vehicle, look for a towing fan that will tow your vehicle. We advise people, please don't always cut your seatbelt to tow a vehicle because that is illegal for you to do that. But in the case of maybe there's an emergency or maybe the security threat and where this happens is not where you can easily carry a tow truck and you have to do that. When you have to move your vehicle to a safe place, get back to a mechanic and make sure that seatbelt you buy it and fix it back so that you will save your life and reduce the costs.
Okay, before we let you go, sir, I want you to update us. Weekly updates. So what's up this week?
Yes, the problem we are facing now is, like I said, is the traffic congestion, which especially AYA is one of our serious problem these days, and Kuba Road, because of the construction ongoing, also reduce some areas that construction is there, we make sure that the traffic is congested, and we put our men there to make sure that the roads are free. But when in terms of road traffic crashes, is so much reductions. But what we are facing now is traffic congestion, which we are not sleeping. We went out as early as 5:30 on the road to make sure, because when you are not there, once the traffic is built up, it will be difficult for you to control.
Yeah.
But when you are there before the traffic started, you'll be able to control the movement of the traffic.
Okay. Sir, I just wanted to, one word. you went somewhere this morning and you try to make sure you control traffic. So it's like I want you to sound a note of warning to the area you went to so that people will know that it's a serious matter.
No, we told them, like this morning, I went there, those coastal buses that used to park on top of AYA Bridge.
Okay, AYA, I want to get
AYA Bridge.
Okay.
We tell them, please, you don't park on top of that bridge to drop passengers and carry passengers. Please move out to a safe place. Drop your passengers and carry. Don't stop on the middle of the road. Because when you stop on the middle of the road, you are causing traffic congestion on the road. And it's the one that we are not going to stop. They will be seeing us every day until the road is free.
Thank you so much. I just wanted you to deliver that message. He has said it. All the coastal buses that used to park on top of the bridge at AYA, he has said it. They will keep going there every day to make sure that you stop. Okay, because you need to consider other road users. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And please keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right, we've been discussing the importance of wearing your seatbelt, and the importance, like he said, the importance or the talk on wearing seatbelt can never be overemphasized. They say a word is enough for the wise. All right, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, the program continues. Please don't go anywhere.